Today we're going to talk about the selfless woman and the narcissist. The selfless woman is on shaky ground as far as her identity goes, and her self-esteem is very low. And this usually can be traced back to her relationship with her mother, who was either very controlling and involved in her life in a very inappropriate way, or she was rejecting and abandoning and neglectful, and in either case she didn't provide the nurturing that she should have as a mother, and so that evolved into the selfless woman. An overprotective mother binds her child to her through fear, with being unable to recognize the separateness of her daughter. Such a mother refuses to let her child develop herself. Usually this kind of mother runs into bunches of problems when the child reaches adolescence. She'll think everything was fine, and then all of a sudden she doesn't know what's going on. And it's because the person's going through a normal, natural process of adolescence, but she is not equipped for it. She wanted this compliant little kid forever, and that wasn't going to happen. Some mothers, of course, themselves were deprived of what they needed. When it comes to caring for children, they're just incapable of it, or they don't know how to do it. So some mothers are deprived of necessary nurturing and care in their own life, and so when the baby comes along, they're just unable to take care of it physically, or they don't know how to, they either don't know how, or they're not able to respond appropriately to the child's needs. And without good enough parenting, a child will grow up without the foundation upon which to build a self. The selfless woman takes on the personality and identity of the person she's with. So, who better than a narcissist who is has an inflated ego, a grandiose sense of himself. She is extraordinarily sensitive to real or imagined rejection. She, feels like it's around every corner, and so she feels like she has to be selfless in order to earn her way into relationships. Romantic relationships with a selfless woman are usually highly charged. There's a lot of turbulence and rage in these relationships. They're usually short-lived, and she continually feels victimized. Because of deep self-loathing, she doesn't take care of herself. I mean, she doesn't know how to soothe herself. She doesn't know how to, love herself. And so she could seldom learn from her past mistakes because she's so stuck in this sort of defense mechanism. She can't see what she's doing. And the narcissist will only make this worse. They together, and that's why this series is about destructive relationships, because they together here are going to exacerbate each other's pathology. No matter what others do to hurt or betray the selfless woman, she keeps forgiving them, even if, say, her husband does something that's just so outrageously bad that even she has to admit, it's too much, I can't see him anymore, he will still be able to go and ingratiate himself to her again. So they usually spend a lot of time trying to figure out what other people want from them. They try to anticipate other people's needs and wants, and then they change like a chameleon to be whoever they want. So like someone might be with this friend very outgoing and bubbly, and with this friend very quiet and reserved. They change depending on who they're with. Okay, so here's some signs to see if you're a selfless woman. Do you tend to blame yourself when things go wrong? If you make a mistake, do you see yourself as all bad? Do you try to anticipate what others want or how others want you to act? Do you placate others, or maybe try to buy them in an attempt to keep peace and keep harm at bay? Do you have a difficult time with change? Does taking risks make you feel frightened and apprehensive? Do you have a history of addiction, self-harm, promiscuity, or suicide attempts? Do you sometimes have outbursts of rage? Okay, if you've got these problems, then you have some work to do. Of course, being in a relationship with a narcissist is the worst thing you could possibly do. The selfless woman is an emotionally abused woman, and all of these types that I'm going to talk about in this series are all types of emotionally abused women. And but they all can break free of these relationships and these patterns once they identify them. So, but you have to watch yourself to see if you're getting very addicted to the emotional highs and lows of the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing going on. You're naturally very attracted to narcissists, so you're in a very vulnerable position already. It's extremely painful to figure out that you've been a victim of emotional abuse, but thousands of people have been and still are in your shoes. You're not alone. Just be patient with yourself. Know that you have to crawl before you can walk, and you don't have a lot of experience with your feelings and managing yourself on an adult level in terms of setting identity and knowing your feelings and being okay alone and things like that. You're very afraid of being alone. You need to start learning that you can be alone and enjoying it, getting to be good company to yourself. Admitting that you're a victim of emotional abuse really is the first step. That's the most important step. Once you've done that, then you're home free. That's the big one. And recovery is certainly what you deserve. And recovery can be found here, can be found in books, can be found with friends, can be found in CODA meetings, can be found in lots of places. You can't change the abuser, but you can change yourself.